Okay, welcome everyone to this wonderful public forum we have tonight. The United States is a country of the people, for the people, and by the people. And you're showing here tonight your interest in this great city of Orangeburg and its future. So I'd really like to appreciate all of you coming here. I'll tell you a quick story. This is the Bluebird Theater. Many of you don't know really how it was named this. Back in 1924, a vaudeville tour company came through Orangeburg and played at the Bluebird Theater, which then was located up. It was that one-story part of Cress's and next door to the Old Times Democrat or the Music Doctor. That was the location of the Bluebird Theater, and these traveling vaudeville groups would come in. And Bob Hope, the legendary entertainer for the United States, said that the Bluebird Theater was on his first tour that gave him his first big break in show business. So that speaks a lot for Orangeburg. In fact, Bob went on to say that his act was so good that they made him dress in the basement, which doubled as the coal bin for the furnace. But anyway, welcome tonight. We're glad that all of you are here. We're delighted to have the candidates here for the mayor's office, and they will be answering your questions that have been submitted so you can see their views, and so you can make a determination of how you want the future of Orangeburg to be. So we'd like to thank each of the candidates who are here tonight. And I'd like to thank Ms. Laura Hatt right here, who's the archivist at the Orangeburg County Historical Society, who is McLean's right here. And now I'm going to turn it over to Laura, who will tell you more about the format.
Okay. As Jean said, my name is Laura Hatt. I am the director of the Orangeburg County Historical Society. It's a privilege to welcome you to this forum. Not just as a moderator, but as someone who deeply believes in the power of community. This is a historic moment for Orangeburg. Tonight we gather not just to listen to candidates, but to witness a turning point. This is the first time in decades our city has had this level of open public engagement in a race, and we're proud to help make it happen here at the beautiful Bluebird Theater. We invited all of the candidates for mayor to be here. And while some chose not to participate, those on the stage chose to share their vision and show up. That speaks volumes. Unfortunately, Mayor Butler declined our invitation on Tuesday night, and Darnell Johnson withdrew this morning. This historical evening is about listening, thinking critically, and imagining the kind of Orangeburg we want to build, to live in, and to leave behind for our children. You may agree with some candidates and disagree with others, and that is perfectly okay. This is about showing up, respect, and engagement. So here's how tonight will go. We have time for 15 questions. After that, we'll have a few audience-submitted questions. Please be aware that the cutoff time to submit your question at the desk out front is 7:30. Then each candidate will have 5 minutes for the final closing pitch. We'll keep things moving and on time, and we ask that everyone in the audience help us do that by remaining respectful and muting your cell phones or putting them on airplane mode. This will also help us broadcast this event online. So now I want to introduce our candidates in case you haven't seen the signs around town. We have the President of the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. James McQuilla. Miss Gina Reynolds owns, and it just escaped my head, the printer.
Major Printing.
Major Printing, thank you. And Mr. Gene Matson on the end here. And we will get started with our questions now. Okay, so this question is for Jean first. What aspects of your background do you believe give you an advantage in leading Orangeburg?
Thank you to the Historical Society for hosting this event. I worked for the city of Orangeburg for the last 22 years. I've been inside and I know how it operates. I know what the troubles are and I know how to fix them. Orangeburg's in trouble. We need to grow our tax base. I have served as a code enforcement officer and a police officer, so I know pretty much everybody's job in the city. And I know what changes need to be made. There's been mismanagement for too many years. Show of hands, how many in here live in the city and plan to vote? About half, but the rest of you here for curiosity. Well, listen to what's being said on the stage tonight, because it's very important that we save this city. And you're the people that are going to choose who has the opportunity to try to do that. Like I said, I have 20 years of experience working with the city. I know everything about it. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Gina, the same question for you. What aspects of your background do you believe give you an advantage in leading Orangeburg?
So I think my background began whenever I was born here in Orangeburg. I was born to a farmer and a nurse, and all of my family, my distant family as well, lives in Orangeburg County, in Bolandtown. So born and raised here and lived here for 42 years, less than 4 years that I went to the University of South Carolina, which I graduated in public relations in the journalism school. Also, that will help me grow Orangeburg. I realized how to address tactics and facilitate in making a better Orangeburg. And then most importantly, I have grown a business. I started working in the printing business in 2009, so 16 years ago, and the business was not in the best of financial means at that particular time. We were in a recession in 2007 and 2008, and after about 3 years, I turned the company around with leadership skills, building a team, putting the right people together, making a better work environment, a fun work environment, and a place to grow. Since then, it has turned into a wonderful, profitable company, and I employ 9 people and put food on people's tables. It's a lot of fun, and I think everyone at my shop does have a lot of fun, and again, it's been profitable. So I think that with my leadership skills and the ability to manage a budget, crunch numbers, figure out where to cut things that are not needed, increase your profits and decrease your expenditures. I think that's where I would be the strongest for this position.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and James, the question for you, what aspects of your business do you believe give you an advantage in leading Orangeburg?
So, good evening. My name is James McQuilla. I am the president of the Orangeburg County Chamber of Commerce. I have a really interesting background. As you all know, I'm not originally from Orangeburg. There have been many leaders in Orangeburg that aren't from Orangeburg. I grew up in Sumter, South Carolina. I attended the Citadel and graduated in 1988, where I then worked as the admissions counselor, basically doing marketing for the school, traveling the entire U.S. doing that. Since that time, I've gotten a chance to work in banking. I've worked with law enforcement. I directed a program out of the solicitor's office, which again, have a relationship with this solicitor. Pascal and I was a couple years ahead of him, but knew him in school. So I understand what the legal side is in running any organization. But I also served as an associate municipal judge, so I understood what it took to make sure that we followed compliance and made sure others did the same thing. I've owned a business. I was a federal government contractor for 10 years, sold everything to the government except weapons and ammunition. I've also come to Orangeburg as I mentioned, as the president of the Chamber of Commerce. And because I owned businesses, worked in the medical field, the legal field, insurance, investments, had 2 securities licenses, and developed relationships all across the state with some of the biggest companies that are in South Carolina, and still have those relationships. I think I'm the best person to represent us as a town as we grow. I also believe, I think everyone on the stage, we know each other. We may not always agree, but we're not disagreeable with each other. Our motto is success is simple when we work together. Everything that we've ever accomplished in this country came when we were united. We were colonies, and we united and won a war for our independence. It'll be 250 years next year. When we are separated, no matter what the reason, we can't get things done. But once we come together, we have innovation, we have growth, and we'll have revitalization. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, James, this question is for you. Please give us a couple examples of how you could work with the existing farmers market to support the local vendors.
Well, I'll give you some examples of how I've already worked with farmers in the area. I've been a part of a USDA grant where we would purchase produce from local farmers and then provide that produce to individuals in the community, because a healthy lifestyle is really, and I'm going to get into this, a major part of what's going to help Orangeburg be better. Orangeburg is still a farming community based on our GDP, okay? And so for us to be a community of agriculture and agribusiness and farming, where there's produce, for the most part, in row crops and things like that, being grown, yet also be one of the most unhealthy communities in our state is at odds. And so I would love to be able to continue to sit down with farmers and make sure that they are as appreciated as our businesses are. We can create not only a single farmer's market, but part of my plan, and it may come to fruition, it may not, would be to use part of the mall to have an everyday indoor farmer's market, where you could go to the mall on the inside and be able to purchase local produce from local farmers every day. It would help us alleviate the fact that part of Orangeburg is a food desert. It would help us to promote the backbone of what Orangeburg has been. And yes, there may be changes coming in the future, but right now, we can help our farmers by continuing to help them with USDA grants and relationships that I have, as well as promoting something that I think would be unique to the Midlands, and that is an everyday indoor farmers market located at our mall. Thank you.
Okay, Jean, this question is for you. Please give us a few examples of how you would work with the existing farmers market to support the local vendors.
We have farmers markets in this town like 3 times a week. We have one up on at the Pavilion, and then there's another one that they hold out at the parking lot on Magnolia Street. Farmers markets are good. I like farmers markets. That's not going to solve the problems for the city of Orangeburg by producing goods. And the next mayor is going to have to understand how government works, how city codes, state laws, zoning, planning, sanitation, and budgeting. They'll have to rely on staff to make those decisions if they don't already know all of these things. And I'm sorry, my opponents have no government experience. I've seen firsthand some employees not competent in the city. And we need new leadership to correct those problems. I will make staffing changes that are needed immediately when I take office. I'm the only candidate with the knowledge and experience to lead Orangeburg on day one. The city, the current administration is trying to downsize the staff. We're understaffed right now. We used to provide all the landscaping needs through the Parks and Recreation Department. Well, now they're outsourcing the landscaping needs through a private landscaper because we don't have enough people because they downsized. They're also talking about downsizing or outsourcing the sanitation department. When that happens, they're no longer going to have control of it. They're going to have a private company doing your sanitation service. And every year they're going to come back with a new increased bill. Farmers markets are great. That's not going to solve the problems of the city of Orangeburg.
Okay. All right, so Gina, this question is for you. Please give us a couple of examples of how you would work with the existing farmers market to support local vendors.
Okay, so the farmers market here in Orangeburg, in the city of Orangeburg, was started in 2015, and that was before the pavilion was built. It was highly promoted on several facets of promotion, for publicity, the newspaper, Facebook, the internet. Cards were sent out, incentives were sent out to local business owners in town, and I think we had probably 10 farmers set up that very first year. It only grew to about 20, and this included homemade products as well. Honey, I think the ratio was 60-40. You had to have 60% of your product grown or made in your home or on your facility, and the other 40% could come from the farmers market in Columbia or somewhere like that. It was very trafficked. Lots of people loved it. The hours were a little odd. That was probably the only complaint, except for we needed a facility. So we built the pavilion, and when I say we, it's DORA, the Downtown Orangeburg Revitalization Association, built the pavilion, which is not being utilized at this point. It's a beautiful place downtown, and to my knowledge, I haven't seen it being promoted in a while. And the farmers market as well hasn't been promoted, causing less traffic. We need to get the word out there. I think it's a wonderful place for people to shop local and to come downtown and see people in traffic, and it's on a Tuesday afternoon. It's wonderful. So also I visited, as I was mentioning earlier, in Walterboro they have something called a community kitchen. That was a talk here in town. The community kitchen was backed by Senator John Matthews, and he helped facilitate and organize that community kitchen. He helped build it. And it was, what the community kitchen is a farmer's market, a museum, and a place where if you don't have a DHEC certified place, where if you don't have the means of making your honey
or your jam or your barbecue sauce or something of the nature. It's huge equipment, baking and cooking equipment, where you can rent that space out, and a business owner could rent that space out and sell their product right there in the museum and at their farmer's market. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, also used as a conference room. So maybe we would make a great community kitchen downtown. Thank you.